Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of STEM Lab Pro. I am WizWolf. Let's get into it. You all might be wondering where the Pro came from, since all the other videos were named STEM Lab. Well, I had since decided to add the Pro to the name, so that way I can distinguish it from other STEM Lab videos that other people have done. Besides that change, welcome back, and today I will be covering infection caused not only by bacteria, not only by viruses, not only by fungi, yada yada yada, but also protozoans and prions. Before this video starts, it is crucial you stick around to the end to hear some more groundbreaking news on my channel. Starts, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to never miss a future video. Jumping right into our topic of infection, let's start out with bacteria. As many of you know from biology, a bacterium, the singular of bacteria, is a single-celled organism. A more in-depth analysis of bacteria reveals that they can be shaped like rods, curves, or spheres. They can be found pretty much everywhere in the air, the soil beneath our feet, and even inside your own body. But hold on, before you panic, according to Medline Plus, less than 1% can actually cause illness to us. Within these 1% are some terrible infections to get and can be serious if not taken care of properly. E. coli, staph, and strep are three modern-day infections that are caused by bacteria. But did you know that the plague was also caused by infection? Yeah, as can be seen, bacteria are no joke. It is amazing to think that something so small can disrupt society as we know it. I mean, the plague was responsible for millions of deaths and drastic changes in society during the Middle Ages. But recently, within the last century, we have been able to make breakthroughs in bacterial infections thanks to a category of drugs called antibiotics. These are extremely helpful in allowing your body to maintain homeostasis, but misuse of these drugs can create a new problem. Bacteria are living and thus can evolve by natural selection. When you kill off most of a population, the ones that survive can reproduce with adaptations that allow them to survive easier in their new environment. This means enter superbugs. No, not creatures like Spider-Man, but rather antibiotic-resistant bacteria. These superbugs are literally resistant to antibiotics. This means physicians must treat the infection with another antibiotic that the bacteria is not resistant to. The next category of infection is viral infection. A virus is the infection agent of these infections. Now, what exactly is a virus? Well, it's simply a protein and lipid coating over some DNA or RNA. The diameters of these irritants are between 20 and 400 nanometers. To put this into perspective, a human fingernail grows at about 1 nanometer per second. Now, do not stare at your fingernails for hours on end because it is impossible to see any progress. Put this into perspective of bacterial infections. Viruses are 10 to 100 times smaller than a bacterium. These little pests are responsible for many big illnesses. Viruses can cause influenza, measles, SARS, the recently discovered COVID-19, and Ebola. The treatment of viral infections is significantly different than it is for bacterial infections. Even though they are antivirals, they only can treat some of the viruses. Instead, many treatments help with the symptoms while the immune system wages the war. So, to prevent them, many people get vaccines. Leave a comment about any other infections that are viral. Another infectious agent is the fungus. Now, everyone probably is thinking about mushrooms, but don't throw out all your mushrooms in your fridge yet. According to the CDC, illness from a fungus is only caused by a few hundred species, a few hundred of like the thousands of fungi species that exist. This means that the edible mushrooms in your fridge are going to be fine to eat unless they aren't contaminated by other substances or microbes. It is important to note that the CDC says fungal infections are opportunistic infections. In other words, fungal infections occur due to a weak immune system. Examples of these forms of infection are some forms of meningitis and ringworm, but like bacterial infections, fungal infections can be treated by drugs. Antifungals are able to help your body fight off the infection. But since funguses are alive, they can again evolve and become resistant to antifungals. A prime example of this evolution is Candida auris. I hope I said that right. Of the samples of Candida auris, 90% are resistant to fluconazole. Yeah, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but in any ways, 90% is a huge number, and this next generation of fungi is something we will need to face in the future. Yet another infection is caused by protozoans, which are unicellular organisms. Now, many may be scratching your head saying, what on earth is a protozoa? It took me a while to figure out as well, but they lie under a familiar group called protists. Many protozoa are actually harmless, while others cause disease. In the past, protozoan infections were a big deal as they are behind malaria and toxoplasmosis. I honestly thought malaria was caused by bacterium until I read a Mayo Clinic article that said it was actually caused by protozoans. I was ultimately shocked on this. I'm going to talk about a disease-causing agent different from all the rest, prions. Prions are proteins that can cause neurodegenerative diseases. Not all prions can cause this type of disease, though. They are smaller than a virus and lack RNA and DNA. The types of prions that cause diseases are responsible for mad cow disease and chronic wasting disease. Unfortunately, the prognosis is poor. Disease-causing prions are abnormal proteins, which means the immune response does not get triggered. There is no cure for this illness, but certain medications can slow the progress of the disease. Unfortunately, they are always fatal. This video on infections, but don't leave just yet. At the beginning of the video, there was a promise to bring about breaking news about my channel. Well, here it is. First, I will be uploading my videos on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also want to inform you that I will be switching to cover more anatomy and medical topics. I'm interested in so many health-related topics that it's difficult just to choose one. I challenge all of you to leave a comment on my video suggesting a topic that you would like to listen about. All you have to do is subscribe so that you can see that video. If I find your topic researchable, I will definitely check it out. Also, I will be giving a shout out to the person who suggested the idea. I appreciate all of your attention you have given my videos. As always, have a great rest of your day and please stay curious.